What is going on? Welcome to this week's episode of the Second of Strength podcast. Grateful you're here. Grateful you are spending some valuable seconds with me. As someone who believes that you have the power in 1 second of strength to change your life, I hope that these seconds help you do that. So grateful you're here. If you haven't done so already, it helps me a ton if you take 1 minute and you go and leave a rating and review for the show. Wherever you listen, leave a rating and review. It helps me a ton. It's actually the only way that the algorithm of Podcastlandia, whatever it is, will actually promote this to other people. And so there's really only two ways to get this message out and help more people. One is you leave a rating and review. It helps me a ton. And the other one is if you share this episode, and hopefully you find value in it, but you share it with one other person at least. So I'm grateful you're here. You know, as I've spent a lot of time working with teenagers, working with people, helping them, accomplish their goals, live their life, pursue their dreams, their passions, and ultimately to find happiness, right? And happiness isn't something we, ultimately arrive at, but it's something we're able to adjust on any given moment in any given day to achieve. And I recognize that there's some real serious things out there. Depression's real, anxiety is real. There's people who are struggling with a lot of things in their life. But the reality is that there's always things that we can change to in any given moment to change our state, to change how we're feeling, to change our happiness, to change our mood, to change all things. And so I want to talk about 6 different things that you have the power to change in any given moment to ensure that you're happier, that you're accomplishing things that you want to accomplish. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to us, right? Like the only person we can impact in our life, we can influence other people, but the only person we can impact is ourselves. And there's these circles of influence where there's things on the outer circle where we can't really influence any of those things. There's things on the middle ring that we can influence based on what we based on our actions, based on the things that we can do. We can have some input into other people or other things or situations or those sorts of things. But at the end of the day, at the core of it, at the root of it, there's really only a handful of things that you can change, you can impact directly to change your life. And those are the 6 things I want to talk about today. And the first thing is, number 1, you can change your attitude. I think that, every sports team, we say it to my son's baseball team, his basketball team, every team that you've ever been a part of, attitude and effort. Those are the 2 things that you have to adjust, right? But attitude is so critical. And here's one of the reasons why. Because attitude not only changes your state of being, but attitude, positive or negative, also has the power to change other people. We talk about influencing others. Well, that's part of it. It influences other people when you have a negative attitude. And you've already been around it, right? Like whether it's at school or whether it's at work, you show up, somebody's in just like a poor mood all day long, and it impacts you. It weighs you down. And sometimes you're the one in a poor mood, and it influences you and weighs you down and other people down. Well, attitude is one thing that you can change. You can, in 1 second of strength, change your attitude. And always easy? No. Always doable? 100%. You get to change your attitude. It is one thing that you are in control of and nobody else is in control of, but you have to decide to do it. So that's the first thing. If you want to change your happiness, change your circumstances, change where you're at, that's the first thing, is change your attitude. The second thing is change the words you say, both to yourself and to other people. There is any infinite number of words in every language, but the reality is you choose, you decide the words that you say. You decide if they're positive, you decide if they're negative, you decide the intonation on it, and you decide all of that. And the question is, are you using words that are going to help people and lift people up, or are you using words that are going to tear people down? Are you using words that are going to lift yourself up, or are you using words that are going to tear you down? You have the power in 1 second of strength to change the words you say to improve somebody else's life and your own life. And all you have to do is make that choice. So that's the second thing. If you want to change your life, change the life of people around you, change the words you say. The third thing, I mentioned the first one, but I can't talk anymore. I'll be fine. Promise I'll be fine. But Putter doesn't care. My dog is always sitting right next to me. He's right here. Indifferent about the words I can't say right now. But the third thing is effort. You get to choose the effort you put in. And the reminder is that the effort you put in dictates what comes out in every situation in life. Now, you can't control other people, you can't control ultimately the outcome, but you get to choose the effort you get to put in. The other day I was talking with my son, and we have a baseball tournament coming up this weekend, and it might be his last baseball tournament. He's kind of said he doesn't want to play baseball anymore. We'll see how that goes. But I said, you don't want to live your life with regret. Someday, this last baseball tournament, give it all you have, because I don't want you to turn around someday and go, we could have won that championship if I would have tried harder, if I would have pushed a little more, if I would have done this, if I would have done that. Effort is within your control. You get to choose the effort you put in. You don't get to dictate and control the outcome, but you do get to control the effort you put in. But what happens is when we don't put in the right amount of effort, we never know if the outcome would have gone our way. We'll always live with that regret. We'll always live with that doubt. And so think about that. Think about your family. Think about your school. Think about your work. Think about your extracurriculars. Think about every aspect of your life and ask yourself, am I putting in the effort required to accomplish the goals and dreams that I want to accomplish? You might be. I hope you are. You might not be. And I think that effort is one of those things that fluctuates on any given day. Sometimes there's days that, you've really got it. And sometimes there's days that you really don't. And that's okay. That's okay. But on every day, are you putting in the max amount of effort you can? And some days that might be 40%, but that's still 100% on that day. And there's other days where you might be able to give 80%, 90%. We'll give that 80 to 90%. But whatever you do, if you're not putting everything you can in, don't expect to get everything out. So you can always change your effort. The third thing is your environment. I think that we lose sight of this fact a lot in our life. We lose sight that we have the power in 1 second of strength to change the environment that we're in. If you're not in a great spot, stand up, walk away. If you're around people who are gossiping, who are talking negatively or, tearing people down, stand up and walk away. If you are in a place, a state, a work environment, a school environment, you can't change every circumstance in life, but you do get to change a lot of those things. So if work isn't great for you, you get to choose another job. You can change that environment. You could probably change where your desk is at. You can probably change a whole bunch of things, right? If, the people, I don't know, the moms that are in the circle of moms that you're hanging out with, and they aren't like the best of people, right? There's a little bit of toxic energy going on there. You get to change that environment. You get to decide who you hang out with. You get to decide your circle of friends. So your environment matters. And I don't think we think about that enough. Your environment matters to your success, to your goals, to your dreams. Are you willing to change it to set yourself up for success and set yourself up for the future? Or are you just going to be okay with where you're at? You get to dictate that. So change your environment. The fourth one is you get to change your direction. And I love this. I love this thought because as I have gone forward in my life, I've realized that sometimes the direction and the path that I'm on isn't exactly the direction and path that I should be on. But there's only one person who gets to control if I stay on that path or if I find my 1 second of strength and change direction to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. And so think about that. Think about where you're at in life. Think about the road you're on. And is it the road that is still meant for you? And maybe it was meant for you at some point, but is it still the road that is going to lead you to happiness, to growth, to your passions, to the things that you want to accomplish? Or are you kind of going down the wrong road? I think that sometimes we go down that wrong road, but you are the one person, the only person who gets to change your direction. Change it today. Don't wait. I think a lot of people are Monday people. My wife is a Monday person. I'll start on Monday. And for some people, that's great. Start on Monday. If it's a workout, if it's a whatever, right? Like start on Monday. I'm kind of a start now kind of guy. I'm kind of a find your 1 second of strength and go kind of guy. And so if you're going the wrong direction, change now, today. Don't wait. Don't hesitate, because hesitation leads to procrastination. Hesitation leads to distraction. Hesitation leads to places that you don't want to go. Do not hesitate the right direction for your life, even though it's scary, even though there's real things that you might be afraid of or that might be holding you back. Don't worry about that. Change the direction, and I promise it will change your life. So that's the fifth thing. And the sixth thing, and maybe the most important thing, is sometimes if you want to change your life, if you want to be happier, if you want to grow, if you want to change, you just have to change your perspective. And I have found in my life that a simple change in perspective does so much for my mental state, for my happiness, for my growth. And, sometimes I think that we get stuck and we start looking at the world in a certain way, and maybe it's bleak and maybe it's dark and maybe it's not exactly what we want. We start just being stuck in the space that we're at instead of changing our perspective and recognizing that even where we're standing, the glass can be half full. Even where we're standing, life can be better if you choose it to be better. If you choose to change your perspective, if you choose to look at the world in a new light. And when you do that, life changes for you. So I hope this helps you today. Look, there's 6 things that you can change in any given moment. You can find your 1 second of strength to change your attitude, to change the words that you're saying to yourself and other people. You can find your 1 second of strength to change your effort and put more effort in. You find your 1 second of strength to change your environment in any given moment. You can find your 1 second of strength to change your direction, and you can always use your 1 second of strength to change your perspective. I hope this helps you today. Like I said, leave a rating and review. Share this with someone. I know that there is someone out there that needs this message today. It might be you. It might not be you. But the only way we can reach that person is by me sharing it and having you share it as well. So I hope this helps. Wherever you're at, I'll leave you the same way I always leave you. Go find your 1 second of strength and be happy.